Blackpool got promoted to the Premier League in the 2009-2010 season. However, they only stayed there for just 1 year. In today's video, another bold Bristolian man will be taking charge of this club instead of Ian Holloway to take them back to the Premier League, and this time keep them there. If you take a look at their club history, you can see they were in the Premier League in this particular season here, relegated in 19th, and they have subsequently followed a couple of additional relegations. They actually got relegated all the way down into Sky Bet League 2, where they competed in this 16-17 season. They got promoted then. They got promoted in the 2020-2021 season and are back in the Championship. As you can see, they have won the Sky Bet Championship just the one time in the 1930s, and they've also won the FA Cup one time in the 1953 season. So we are going to be trying to see what we can do with Blackpool. If you take a look at the tactic and the team and stuff like that, this is the team, this is the tactic. If we quick pick without restriction, our best 11, this is how we're looking going into the first day of the season. Now, I will say this is GYR's Deadpool tactic. Yes, it is very good. Go and check it out. I will leave a link to it down below. But I'm very excited to try a couple of people in this team. Charlie Patino, I've never used in FM this year, so I'm thinking he could be a good little prospect for us. And Jerry Yates, if you've not seen some of our previous rebuilds, this guy's an absolute legend, is going to bag an abundance of goals. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do and where we can take this particular club legend. Obviously, I've not added any other players, so this is the players that have just finished the season, or finished the season last season for Blackpool, so hopefully we can kind of go a little bit better than they did in real life. If we look at the competition tab, we are expected to avoid relegation, or avoid a relegation battle in the Sky Bet Championship. I'll be looking at doing a little bit better than that, to be perfectly honest. If we take a look at the Sky Bet Championship and look at the season preview, we are 50-1 to win the title. This is why I say the Championship is such a difficult league to win. 50-1, and we're predicted to finish in 21st. I've had odds of 1,000-1 before, so I definitely think this is possible that we can maybe cause a little bit of an upset. 50-1, predicted to finish in 21st. Let's see what we can do in season number 1. So the expectation was for us to avoid a relegation battle. We've definitely done that because we've actually got ourselves promoted to the Premier League. This is a season ahead of where I actually thought we'd be. I wanted a little bit of like mid-table, maybe pushing up towards the playoffs. We got into the playoffs, and not only did we get into the playoffs, we absolutely dominated the playoffs. Let's first of all talk about our run-in. We were a little bit patchy around the February-March area of the season, but towards the end of the year, we were very, very good, and we got ourselves into the playoffs. We actually dominated Burnley at home, 5-1 in the first leg. Yes, okay, we lost 2-1 at Turf Moor. Doesn't matter. We go through 6-3 on aggregate into that Championship playoff final, where we came up against Middlesbrough, and we absolutely walloped them. Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough, we beat them 5-0. Morgan Rogers, the man on loan from Manchester City, with a hat-trick. Josh Barler with one, and Ian Proveda with the other goal. There we go. That is the 5 goal scorers. Absolutely dominated them at Wembley. If you look at the stats of the game, we had 23 shots to their 11. We had 12 on target to their 6. 3.27 XG to their 1.73. We had a fantastic game. Morgan Rogers, perfect 10 in terms of his rating. In terms of some of the other competitions, though, we got to the 4th round of the FA Cup. The board just wanted us to be competitive, and I think we were. Got to the 4th round where we eventually were knocked out by Manchester City, 3-0 at home, and then we got to the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup where we lost 4-3 to Tottenham away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So a very impressive first season. Again, as I said, a season ahead of schedule for where I thought we would be here, but that does mean because we are going into the Premier League, we got that Premier League money. So £32 million to spend, and an increase in our wage budget from 126k committed spend up to 433k. I'm going to try and wheel and deal in this. I'm not going to sign the players that I seem to usually sign when I'm doing a save in England. So let's see who we can bring in to get us Premier League ready. So guys, this was probably the biggest transfer window of this particular rebuild. So this is where you need to pay attention, because we've made a lot of signings. Let's start first of all. Asperilla comes in from Watford. They obviously did not get promoted, so I wanted to pick up one of their talented players. I was between him and João Pedro. Went for Asperilla because he can play in 3 of the key positions that I need him to play in, and he was a little bit cheaper. 19 years of age, obviously 4 caps, 2 goals now for the national team, and he looks like a very, very good player. Coming in as a 4-star player. We paid £22.5 million for his services, but I think it's a very good signing, one that will hold us in good stead moving forward. Daniel Ballard came in from Sunderland, obviously the Northern Irish international, 6'2", former Arsenal youth player, very well rounded defender, and obviously did very well in the Championship last season. So players who do well in that division usually then tend to move into the Premier League, and he has done just that. We paid £5 million for him. That could increase and probably will increase to £6 million. Leif Davis comes in as our left back from Ipswich Town. If you haven't seen the Ipswich Town rebuild, this guy I know lasted the entire 5 years into the Premier League, so I know he's Premier League quality. Very, very well rounded. He's very much the same as Luke Thomas from Leicester in my opinion, but Luke Thomas has a higher ceiling. So he came in from Ipswich Town for £2.3 million. We signed Josh Bowler from Nottingham Forest. His loan was last season. He did very well. We paid the money for him. I think it was £4.1 million for him to come in from Nottingham Forest, so we're happy with that one. We also picked up Alex Mowat from West Brom for £1.1 million. Absolute battle-tested central midfielder or defensive midfielder. Very good option for us in this game. Yes, okay, he's a little bit on the slower side, but mentally I think he's definitely all there and a very good player to take into the Premier League with you. We got him for £1.1 million. We picked up Hannibal Mejbri from Manchester United for £1.7 million. This guy's got really high potential. Came in for dirt cheap and he's now valued at £10 million. He's got 17 caps now for Tunisia and looks like he could be a very good player for us moving forward. We've had a couple players leave on smaller fees, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, only totaling up to £1 million, so not too much there, and there's a few more that have left. We also picked up Ryan Nyambi. He came in from Wigan. He's a very athletic right back, and I think it was a step up for us in that right back position. He is okay, not the best going forward, but defensively very solid. He came in on a free transfer. We also picked up Martin Neto from Benfica's B team, supremely well rounded central midfielder, and on a free. Absolutely brilliant business in my opinion. 16 million to 18.5 million pounds is his value now, so very happy there. And Miguel Aziz comes in and as a young player from Arsenal, having been released, again very well rounded to play in these midfield positions. I feel like we are in a good spot with this team. If I quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team's looking now. It has had a little bit of a facelift. We still got Grimshaw in goal, but the defense is relatively new in all positions. Neto and Aziz make up that central midfield partnership now. Bowler, Asperilla and Hannibal Mejbri are the 3 behind Jerry Yates, who is still going to be our striker going into the Premier League, and probably for most of this save, I would imagine. If we take a look at the competitions though, we are into the Premier League as the playoff winner, so we are expected to fight bravely against relegation, and here come the big odds. We are 1,000 to 1 to win the Premier League. It's not going to happen. I will guarantee you it will not happen, but survival will be our main thing. I just want to finish in 17th. We are the lowest of the 3 promoted teams. Norwich and Blackburn, who went up automatically, have much better odds, so hopefully we can better those odds and at least stay in the division. In terms of the other cup competitions, they just want us to be competitive. The Premier League is going to be the bread and butter in season number 2. Let's get it and see if we can stay in the Prem. So Premier League season is over and we have avoided relegation. We are in 13th, which is unlucky for some, but turns out lucky for Blackpool. We are finishing in 13th. It is in the bottom half of the table, but absolutely nowhere near the relegation zone. If you can see, we finished on 42 points. We are 10 points clear of Crystal Palace, who went down in 18th, alongside Southampton and Nottingham Forest. So all 3 promoted teams survived. Norwich actually went on to finish in 10th, which is very impressive. This year, we got knocked out in the 3rd round of the FA Cup by Preston, which isn't the end of the world, and knocked out in the 2nd round of that Carabao Cup by Blackburn Rovers. Again, not the end of the world. If I go onto the home screen, you can see some of our player stats on the right-hand side. Jerry Yates, our top goal scorer, 15 in all competitions. Asperilla coming in as a new signing, got our highest average rating. We did lose a lot of games this season, guys, so we started the season pretty nicely, and then it really tailed off. Josh Bowler was our top assister as well, which is pretty good for some of these, I'm going to call them new signings, even though Bowler was on loan for the remainder of the season. But in terms of the Premier League, if I expand this league table so you can have a proper look at it, you can see there we got 12 victories, 6 draws, 20 defeats. Obviously, the minus 21 goal difference means we have to improve defensively, but I also think we need to improve at the top end of the field as well. So in terms of those finances going into next season, I've got £55 million. Yes, the Premier League money is just disgusting. 55 million quid to get the job done, and I think we can spend that very, very wisely and make this team a contender pretty darn soon. Let's get into season 3's transfers. Okay, so the transfer business for season 3 started really, really early. So we've got a couple of players on last season's transfers page. We picked up Andrei Borza from Romania for £2.7 million. He comes in as a left back option, as a squad player. He's capped internationally by Romania. Looks pretty solid. I don't think he'd actually get in ahead of Leif Davis, but looks very good. Physically, very, very good. 16 pace, 17 agility, 14 acceleration, as you can see there. Looks like a pretty good player for us, and I'm hoping he can go in and be a nice solid option for us. We then also picked up Florian Balogun. He was on the transfer list from Arsenal. He's now got 9 caps and 3 goals for the USA men's national team. He comes in as a striker option, can play on either wing as well. A nice versatile option for us. I don't know how much he'll play in that striker position, but we will have to see come the end of season number 3. We've been out and picked up our first new gen of the save as well, using my WONDERKID filter. If you haven't seen it, it's in my Discord pinned in the video resources tab, so please go into there and find it if you are looking for it. Helps you find players like this for an absolute snip. He comes in from Greece for £3 million. It could rise to 5, but yes, a very good player. He's gone back out on loan to that particular Greek side. This is the page where all the money's been spent, though. We picked up Jacob Napoleon Romzas from Tremoso. He looks like a very good player for £3.2 million. Can play in central midfield, can play in that cam spot, can play on the right hand side, all as a natural. 20 years of age, 11 caps for the Norwegian men's national team. Looks very, very good. 17 flair. I'm hoping is going to make us really creative up front. He's now valued at, what was that I just saw? 39 to 44 million pounds. Yes, please. We also picked up this guy as well. Hashiroka, is how I'm saying that. 13 caps for the Japanese national team. You can kind of see the sorts of players we're looking for. He can play at centre back, can play at right back. Nice high concentration, which I do like on my defenders as well. 25 years of age for him. We also picked ourselves up a new goalkeeper, Finn Darman. Again, looks like a good little prospect. Was transfer listed over in Germany. Very good physically. Nice positioning at 16 as well. 6'1", 26 years of age, which is very, very nice. This is where the bulk of the money has gone, though. Fabian Rida has come in from Young Boys, I believe. Yeah, Young Boys for £17 million. Supremely well-rounded central midfielder. If you've not seen this guy before, please do go and sign him. He is fantastic. Capped by the Swiss national team as well, so you can kind of see we're looking for this national pedigree here. We've also picked up this guy, Juan Carlos Portillo, coming in from Argentina. As you can see, is a natural across the entire back line, which is why he is a perfect squad player for us. He comes in for £4.8 million. And then we've picked up this guy, Jose Cordoba, not a player that I've seen before. He's a Panama international, 23 years of age, 6'2". He's an absolute unit. 15 jumping reach, 13 heading. Looks like a very, very good central defender. So yeah, some interesting moves here. Andy Leons has gone out to Mainz, and I will say in our transfer centre, Daniel Grimshaw looks like he is potentially leaving the Derby County on loan, as well as we did change our goalkeeper out. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is how the team is looking this season. It is very, very different, I will say. Only Bowler has remained from this first season and this centre back here, so just the 2 players, but the team is looking very strong. I'm really happy with how this is looking. I think we're going to go and have a very good season in the Premier League, and if we take a look at the competition stat, we are expected to fight bravely against relegation again. We were 1,000 to 1 last season, and we are 1,000 to 1 again this year to see if we can survive. Watford, Bournemouth and Fulham all get promoted from the Championship and all have better odds than me. 1,000 to 1 sees us alongside Blackburn, so we're going to have to see what we can do in season number 3. So it turns out if you know the right players to buy, as I've played this game for almost 100 days since it's come out, it turns out you can do pretty well. We finished in 3rd with Blackpool in season number 3. 69 points for the boys. We finished 10 points behind Chelsea, but we absolutely crushed it. 21 victories, 6 draws, 11 defeats, plus 21 in terms of that goal difference. It's a 40 goal difference swing from last season, so we vastly improved there, which is great to see. We got to the 5th round of the FA Cup where we were knocked out by Watford and knocked out in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup by Chelsea, but I really just do not care. I don't care about the domestic cup competitions. We finished 3rd in the Premier League with Blackpool. Balogun was our top goal scorer in the league, or was the top goal scorer in the league with 30 goals. Chelsea, I've only just noticed, have won the league the last 3 years, so shout out Todd Bowley, absolutely killing it. Blackburn, Fulham and Watford all go down. We qualify for the Champions League, which is absolutely nuts. Balogun got 32 goals in all competitions, was our highest average rated player as well. Josh Bowler with 15 assists, a very good season for the guy who was on loan in the Championship, so we're keeping him in the team. But teams we finished above Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham. We are crushing it. We are flying. Blackpool are Champions League. Let's go, baby. I cannot believe it. Going into season number 4, obviously the Champions League budget is hitting. We've also got 70 million in our overall balance, 64 million in our transfer budget, 1.1 million in terms of our wage budget. And I will say, off the field, we are going to start to really ramp this up. Our training facilities are only a 6 now. Our youth facilities are an 8. Our youth recruitment's an 11. And our junior coaching is actually really, really good. But we are going to try our damnedest to improve those facilities off the field as much as we humanly can. But we're going into the Champions League. I just don't get it. Let's get season number 4. So moving into season number 4, as we move into the Champions League, we need a much deeper squad. So we've been out and we've spent a decent amount of money, as well, as you probably will be able to see. I've highlighted on the left-hand side the new players that we have been able to bring in, but we will talk about them now. We've picked up our Mexican goalkeeper, new gen, 18 years of age, 6'3", looks superb for the age he is already. We're going to throw him straight in. He is going to play every single game for us this season. 17 determination coupled with a fairly determined personality leads me to believe he will improve a lot. He's come in from Monterrey for 6.25 million. Will most likely rise to 9.25 million, but it does not matter. Anders Borsek comes in as another option for us. Can either play centre-back or left-back. Supremely well-rounded, very young, Norwegian youth international, 2 caps and 1 goal for Norway. That Norway team is very special, and I can see them doing good things in real-world football moving forward. He comes in from Molde for 6.25 million. Graham Gebby looks like a very well-rounded central defender, 17 years of age. He was at Wraith Rovers. We bought him and loaned him straight back out to Wraith because he's 17, just so he can keep playing football. He's 6'3" with 19 jumping reach, guys. I think this guy is going to be an absolute danger off of corners. He's also got 17 tackling. He only costs 1.2 million pounds, but as I said, he is back out on loan at Wraith Rovers. This is where a bulk of our money's gone, guys. We picked up this new gen. He was 48 million pounds for a 19-year-old Turkish international, 6'2", coming out of the Netherlands. Looks superb. 17 vision, high balance, high jumping reach, high anticipation. Exactly what you want for our ball-winning midfielder position. Mustafa Shakir looks fantastic. 48 million quid for him. We picked up Adam Plozek for 3.8 million pounds. Again, he was transfer listed over in the Bundesliga. 16 pace, 16 acceleration. Can play in a couple of positions. Can play up front. Can play on the left. Exactly what we are looking for. In terms of some of the other people we picked up this guy, Carl Jakob Hein. He is a backup goalkeeper for us, having been released by Arsenal, but is a better backup than we have had previously. We've also picked up Dennis Anderson, another new gen. He has gone back out on loan to Lyngby over in Denmark. He looks very good as well. 6'4", like ludicrously high flair and passing, so I think he's going to be a very good creative player. But as I said, he has gone back out on loan, and we needed a leader, and we picked up ourselves a 34-year-old Kieran Trippier to play at right back. Dead ball specialist now. He's only got 10 pace and 8 acceleration, but I think he could still be a very good player for us nonetheless. So if we go into our tactics screen, these are the two players that we are going to pin in. Our £48 million WONDERKID, who's going to play all the time there, and our new goalkeeper from Mexico, who's going to play all of the time there. But the team is looking pretty darn good as we go into the Champions League. Now, the board only wants us to be competitive in the Champions League. We go straight into the league phase, and nothing to worry about there. So hopefully we don't disgrace ourselves in that. In terms of the Premier League, though, the board wants us to finish mid-table. Obviously, we are having sizable investment into the team. However, the media are not backing us despite being in the Champions League. We are 900 to 1 to win the league and predicted to finish 19th. Gotta put some respect on our name, boys. It's absolutely crazy. Let's simulate season 4 and see how we get on in the Premier League and Blackpool in the Champions League. So season 4 is in the books and we've qualified again for the Champions League with our Premier League placement. We finish in 4th. The top 5, because of the coefficient change, the top 5 qualify for the Champions League now. So Man City win the title with 73 points. Actually a really low points return. Liverpool finished 2nd, Newcastle in 3rd, ourselves in 4th, and Chelsea dropped all the way down to 5th. We absolutely smashed it. Again, qualifying for the Champions League is absolutely massive. Only 2 draws, 15 losses, 21 victories, plus 5 in terms of our goal difference, but we were testing an 18-year-old goalkeeper in goal. So I'm not overly bothered by it. I'm really impressed that we got into the Champions League. But the interesting story, guys, is at the other end of the table, Tottenham get relegated. Yes, they had 9 victories, 10 draws and 19 defeats all season. Spurs get relegated and they've got Nuno as their manager again. Why? It didn't work the first time, but I guess in this particular instance they have no history of having Nuno. But yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo is back as the manager of Tottenham, and he's taken them to the Championship, which is ludicrous because I'm probably going to pilfer all their players, or as many as I possibly can. In terms of the other cup competitions, not taking the 4th round of the Carabao by Newcastle United, in the 5th round of the FA Cup by Manchester United, and in the Champions League we got to the round of 16 where we ultimately were beaten by Bayern Munich. We lost 3-0 at home, but actually drew 0-0 in Munich, which I was very impressed with. A very good result, especially considering some of the youth players that we are enforcing in this team. But Bayern did go all the way on to win the Champions League. They won it on penalties against Liverpool. So being knocked out by Bayern, I cannot complain. If we take a look at our Champions League run, because I know people do like to see it, we lost to Shakhtar, we beat RB Salzburg, we lost to Madrid, we had Madrid at Bloomfield Road. Yes, it happened. Drew with Atletico in Madrid, beat Bruges, beat Sevilla, lost to Chelsea, lost to Dortmund, beat Rennes 4-0 in the first knockout or playoff round. We beat them 4-0 at home, lost 3-0 away, so luckily go through on aggregate, and then yeah, come up against Bayern, the eventual winners of the Champions League. But another fantastic season. Balogun top goal scorer, 22 goals in all competitions. Josh Bowler continues to be very good in terms of those assists with 14. He's absolutely smashed it. We've got our 5th and final season in the Champions League, and we've got an absolute war chest, guys. 81 million pounds, yes, and 1.3 in terms of our wage budget. Off the field, you can see the youth facilities have improved. We're now up to 12 in our youth facilities. Our training facilities are going up as well. We are currently working on those. As you can see, youth facilities and training facilities work is in progress right now. We're also in planning to increase our youth level as well, so we are really trying to move Blackpool forward off the field going into season number 5. So guys, before we go into season number 5, this is the part of the video where I ask, if you are still watching, you let me know that you are still watching by commenting something down below, and it could only be one thing, couldn't it? I'd like to see Ian Holloway lots in the comments. As a fellow Bristolian, despite him being Bristol Rovers and I'm a Bristol City fan, Ian Holloway was very good value when he was in the Premier League. So just comment Ian Holloway down below. We've got some transfers to talk to you guys about. I've been out and I've been spending, obviously, as you would expect. I do have to talk to you about Anders Borset. He was very unhappy. So he has actually gone over to Korea to play now. He was very unhappy with us. We weren't playing him as much as he wanted. 23 million we got for him, which could rise to 27.5. But we've been out and we've been spending. These boys on the left-hand side are the ones that we have picked up, along with a couple others, which I will talk about. Max Kilman comes in from Wolves. They were relegated. So I picked up a veteran centre-back for the Premier League for, what was it, £13.5 million? Yeah, he comes in very well rounded, 6'4", absolute danger from set pieces. Rico Lewis was transfer listed by Manchester City for 25 million quid. He is our new right back, can also play left back. If you've not seen Rico Lewis since the winter update, he is very, very good. We also picked up this guy, another new gen, Victor Escobedo. He is a Mexican youth international. Again, we're raiding Mexico. It seems to be very good for us at the moment. He is a very good striker. He's got 16 dribbling, 16 first touch, 13 finishing. He's got 20 determination, so he is very, very good. I'm trying to get him a loan move out somewhere, so hopefully he can go out. Oh, sorry, I've already achieved it. He's out at Sunderland, as you can see. We need to get him some game time, and I don't think he's going to get into the team, but has the potential to be a very good forward. We spent £70 million on this man, Xavi Simons, the Dutch international. He plays in orange for his national team. He now plays in orange on a weekly basis as well. We picked him up from PSV, 70 million quid. Yes, it's a lot of money. Yes, he's on 180k a week. He's great. Fantastic first touch, great technique, unbelievable mentals. His worst mental is his leadership at 11. I don't care about his leadership. He's going to be insane for us this year. And we also said we were going to raid Tottenham, and we picked up this guy, Francisco Ortega. He is a new left back for us, very well rounded. I've not seen this guy before, but he was at Spurs, and obviously they got relegated. So we went to, yes, please, we will have you, Mr. Ortega. You absolutely love to see it. And then there's one more player that I do need to talk to you guys about. This is Roland Falk. He comes in as a new centre-back, right back, left back, defensive midfielder. He can kind of do it all. He's listed as a wonder kid. He's 19 years of age, Dutch youth international, supremely well-rounded. Again, with this high determination, high work rate and stuff like that. Again, it's the wonder kid filter, guys. Please, please, please go and check it out. Let's talk about the competition. Let's talk about the team first. Now, we're going to keep these two in the pinned positions, the goalkeeper and the defensive midfielder or central midfielder again. But if we quick pick without restriction, this is what it's saying our best 11 is. Now, I'm more than likely going to do something like this. And then where is Shakir? So he will go in there. That is kind of how I'm visioning the team looking right now. So we've got our new gen at the back, Rico Lewis, Kilman, Cordoba, Ortega, Shakir, the new gen alongside Rida. He's very good. Asparilla, Simmons, and Romsas are going to be very good. Behind Balogun, I think we are ready to do some damage, guys. Yes, we are looking very good going into this fifth and final season. Obviously, we do have the Champions League again. The board just want us to be competitive in all cup competitions, which is fine, and avoid relegation from the Premier League. And we've been finishing in the Champions League places. They've actually put a little bit more respect on our name. We are predicted to finish in 11th now, which is the same odds as newly promoted QPR. I'm just not having it, guys. We are just better than this. We are just better than 11th. Graham Potter also back at Chelsea, so strange things happen. Pep's at Arsenal, Gary O'Neill's at Bournemouth again, Antonio Conte's at Palace, like crazy things that happen in Football Manager. And we are going to simulate this fifth and final season. Let's see how we get on. So guys, not our best season with Blackpool, but we do qualify for the Champions League yet again. We finish in 5th, a very strong end to the season. Caesars finish in 5th. We had 21 victories, 5 draws, 12 defeats in the Premier League. Everton sneak inside that top 4 alongside Newcastle, Liverpool, and Chelsea go back to the top. Both clubs from Manchester not securing European football, which is absolutely ludicrous. Norwich, Crystal Palace, and QPR go down as we finish in 5th. We got all the way, though, to the semi-finals. Blackpool in the semi-finals of the Champions League, where ultimately we lost to Real Madrid. Now, we lost 5-0 on aggregate. Pedro Porro scored twice, and Youssoufa Moukoko scored for Real Madrid. The Real Madrid team's very good. They've obviously signed Porro. They've got Kim Pembe in there. Declan Rice is in there. Kingsley Coman. Moukoko, obviously. They've got Shelder up. They've got, who else have they got? Denzel Dumfries, Rooney Bargi. They've got some very, very good players at Madrid. So no shock that we went out in that Champions League semi-final. And again, Madrid did go on to win the Champions League final. So I'm not too bummed out about it. But we got all the way to the semi-finals with Blackpool, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. We got to the 5th round of the FA Cup where we were knocked out by Brentford. Got to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup where we were knocked out by Leicester. So ultimately, we didn't actually win any trophies here. But the goal was to re-establish Blackpool as a Premier League team. And I think we've definitely definitely done that. If we go onto the home screen, Balogun was our top goal scorer again. 23 goals for him, 18 assists for Jakob Napoleon Romsas. I will be signing him more often. He is very good. Please do go and check him out. If you wanted to continue this rebuild, you can do. I will post it in my Discord, and you will have £66 million to spend. And as I said, we've been improving things off the field. We will continue to do that in this save. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Get it in my Discord. And if you like the rebuild content, guys, check out this playlist popping up right here. It's all the rebuilds that we've released on this year's game.